My child, I see you have found your mother's trunk, which means you probably have some questions. None of my stories about your mother, after all, ever mentioned her carrying blades or wearing tokens of honor. I had not originally planned to keep that part of her life hidden from you, but every day became harder not to hope that one day you would simply grow up to be a simple baker and live a peaceful life instead of following in her footsteps. But I see you have too much of your mother in you, and keeping the most important aspects of her life secret would be a great disservice to you and to her memory. Although you never questioned me on this, I know you are smart enough to suspect that you are not a native of this land. I actually moved us here long ago, when you were still a babe, far from your birthplace, and any dangers that might head our way. You see, the land I, your mother, and you were born is Alador, a land far to the east of here. It is a prosperous kingdom, with citizens who know freedoms those in other nations could only dream of. For Alador is a place that values knowledge, and believes that the expansion of knowledge can only improve people's lives. In many of its towns and cities across the country, you will find individual craftsmen and guilds, creating all manner of highly prized objects and beautiful works of architecture. There are also the Collegias, famous institutions that specialize in art and the study of philosophical matters. I had no head for it personally, but your mother did attend a few classes that interested her. I learned to quickly just nod my head whenever she began to talk about a new theory or discovery. I usually didn't understand a word of it, but she was happy, so that was enough for me. The country is also full of abundant resources. To the north, mines bursting with copper and tin deposits. To the east, mountainous terrain with sheep and goats, tended to by shepherds in their isolated mountain settlements. And in the south, thick forests ideal for logging, and with plenty of game for hunters and trappers. Although Alador has many towns, it only has 3 major cities, but each one is vitally important to the well-being of the country. To the south is the city of Portreric, sitting astride the great Nyland River, and thus making it a bustling trade port. To the west is the city of Arenthian, a trade buffer between Alador and the Telonian principalities, which gives Alador access to arcane objects and new ideas from far-off lands. And near the country center is its largest city and capital, a city surrounded by gently rolling hills that makes for fantastic farmland and is ideal for raising cattle. Within the center of the city, past the businesses and homes of the citizenry, you will find the castle of the king. I have heard that recently, Arethic II has taken the throne after his father's untimely death. Although young, he has so far proven himself a capable king. He will need to be, for the trials ahead of him. You see, child, far to the east of those shepherds I had mentioned, was the former nation of Lorenthia, a former rival of Alador's, who, at least from what I recall from the histories, we had a fairly peaceful relationship with for over 90 years. Still, perhaps echoes of that rivalry prevented them from asking for aid before it was too late, for it is now covered by the Shadowdeep, a dark cloud that blots out the sun, that has not only taken Lorenthia, but other nations before it. When it first began to spread, most people took no heed, for it was far from here, another nation's problem. But your mother knew better, for she was a ranger, the elite and fabled warriors of Alador, trained in all manner of weapon and woodcraft, forest wardens who have protected the forests of Alador since the nation's founding. While others called her foolish for her worries, she followed her gut, choosing to lead a small team to Lorenthia and beyond, to perhaps find answers to the Shadowdeep's origins. Before she left, she told me that she was simply on a scouting mission, that she would return at the first sign of danger. I think that is the first lie she had ever told me. When she did not return, I moved us here, a place of safety that was free from painful memories. Because, my child, the Shadowdeep is not just a mindless dark cloud. There is a evil intelligence at work there. Something within it that corrupts the land beneath, turning the forest into twisted abominations, and its creatures into mad monsters. Creatures that become tied to it in some strange way, as if the corrupt actions of those creatures help further its spread. And many are the creatures under its control, bestial humanoids such as gnolls and trolls, who willingly serve this darkness. Undead abominations such as skeletons and zombies, who mindlessly wander its depths. As well as ghouls, people who in desperation turned to cannibalism and was cursed for it. Not to mention powerful monsters such as werewolves, and if you're really unlucky, the powerful demonic terror wings, one of which can rip apart scores of warriors with ease. Sadly, besides the monsters, there are also humans who willingly serve the Shadowdeep, cultists who, because of madness or opportunity, serve its ends and perform profane rituals in its honor. The Shadowdeep has now spread to the borders of Alador, and fear has begun to grip the nation. And as the armies gather to protect those borders, it is up to the Rangers to plunge into the Shadowdeep on missions to halt its spread, looking for clues of its origins, searching for objects of legend that may hold back the darkness, or simply stopping the dark rituals of mad cultists, aiming to strengthen its influence. Thankfully, the Rangers do not fight alone. They are natural leaders, and they can call upon the citizens of Alador to fight alongside them. Men-at-arms, knights, and Templars bring their weapons to bear. Rogues and trackers utilize their skills in stealth and subterfuge. Conjurers and arcanists summon forth great magic, not to mention alchemists producing potions of healing, and other even more powerful concoctions to aid them all in battle. But I believe these missions are just a delay. Despite them, the Shadowdeep continues to slowly spread, and may one day encompass all of Alador. The country has called for aid from other nations, but those calls have either been ignored, or the requested aid may come too late. I see, my child, that my tale of the Shadowdeep's dangers has not dissuaded you. I sadly thought as much. Here, this was your mother's silver star, a symbol of honor earned for a great service she had done for the former king. I will arrange passage for you to Alador. When you land in Portreric, ask for the Ranger Terranoth, and show him the star. He will know what it means, and he will train you. My child, I know I cannot stop you, but please, all I ask is that you survive. Don't let this old man outlive his child.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this lore video on Rangers of the Shadowdeep. A gorgeous looking, I guess, dark medieval fantasy type game. I'm gonna be honest here, I bought the PDF version of the book, but I might just grab the physical copy because the black and white art in this book, which you saw throughout the video, is gorgeous and really evokes the feeling of the game. So I might just grab it for that. I don't have a place to actually play it, even though it has solo rules, so maybe I can clear a table. But besides the point, grab it if you like it. If you like the lore and you want to see how it's played, I put a link down below to Ashbucker and his Guerrilla Miniatures game YouTube channel where they play a game of it. And I also placed a link to where you can buy the game if you're interested. Give it a look. It might be your cup of tea. But if you like this, please like, subscribe, comment, etc. so that the YouTube gods know as I exist and my video can be out there on the interwebs for more people who might be inclined to like my stuff to be able to see it. If you're really inclined and if you have the cash, please consider also sending a little money away to my Patreon or my Coffee account. The extra money gives me the time I need to work on these stories I love. Anyway, thanks for listening/watching, and see you next time.